Welcome to our channel. The topic of today's presentation is You feel insecure. Learn everything. Insecurity is one of the most common emotions people experience. It can arise from a number of factors, such as uncertainty about the future, a sense of inadequacy, or a lack of self-esteem. However, the important thing to understand is that insecurity doesn't have to be something that overwhelms us. There are ways to manage it so that we can enhance our mental health and create a more secure and stable environment for ourselves. Understanding insecurity. Insecurity is a natural feeling that occurs when we feel uncertainty or fear about something. It is often associated with the feeling that we have no control over a situation or that those around us may judge or reject us. Insecurity can be about work, relationships, appearance, or even our ability to cope with life's challenges. By assessing insecurity, we can identify sources of ignorance or uncertainty that affect us, and understand how these feelings impact our psychology. While insecurity is normal at certain levels, excessive or prolonged insecurity can have a negative impact on our mental health. Identifying the causes of insecurity. Before we can tackle insecurity, it is necessary to identify its root causes. Some of the most common causes include feeling of failure. When we feel that we are not meeting our own or others' expectations, we may experience intense insecurity. Lack of support. Isolation or lack of emotional support from those around us can intensify feelings of insecurity. Comparison with others. Comparing ourselves to others can cause insecurity as we believe we are not good or successful enough. Previous injuries. Past traumatic events, such as rejections or failures, can create a lasting sense of insecurity. By identifying the causes of insecurity, we can begin to understand the roots of the problem and seek solutions that target specific issues. Awareness of emotions. What usually intensifies insecurity is our unwillingness to accept or understand our feelings. Accepting ourselves and our emotions is the first step toward mental balance. When we understand that it is normal to feel insecure from time to time, it is easier to deal with it calmly. Realizing that insecurity does not determine our worth or our ability to grow is an important step in overcoming it. We can begin to observe our feelings without judging them harshly, giving them space to exist without being overwhelmed. Self-esteem development. Self-esteem is a key element in combating insecurity. When we believe in ourselves and our abilities, we can deal with insecurity in a more positive way. Instead of focusing on our weaknesses, it's important to acknowledge our strengths and achievements. To boost our self-esteem, we can use the following strategies. Setting realistic targets. When we set goals that are achievable and realistic, we feel more confident about ourselves when we achieve them. Recognition of successes. It is important to highlight and celebrate our successes, large and small, to enhance our sense of self. Forgiving ourselves. Understanding that we all make mistakes and that these mistakes do not determine our worth as individuals. Creating a supportive environment. Support from those around us is crucial in dealing with insecurity. When we are surrounded by people who understand, support, and encourage us, our insecurity is significantly reduced. It is important to build relationships based on trust and mutual respect. This may include communication with friends and family. Share your thoughts and concerns with people who understand and support you. Asking for help when needed. If insecurity is severe and affects you daily, seeking the guidance and support of a mental health professional may be helpful. Tackling fears and uncertainty. Fear and uncertainty are frequent sources of insecurity. Recognizing these feelings and dealing with them early can reduce the duration and intensity of insecurity. Relaxation strategies. Practicing relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing or meditation, can reduce anxiety and help us stay calmer when we feel insecure. Recognition and management of negative thoughts. Instead of letting negative thoughts take over, we can learn to challenge them and replace them with more realistic and positive thoughts. Taking action. When we feel insecure because of uncertainty about the future, taking small and manageable actions can give us a sense of control over the situation. The importance of acceptance and flexibility. One of the most effective ways to manage insecurity is to accept that life is full of uncertainty. Accepting this reality allows us to deal with situations with greater flexibility. In order to increase our self-esteem and self-respect, we need to follow a few central principles. Protecting personal boundaries. It is important to set and maintain healthy boundaries in our relationships. We should not allow others to influence or belittle us. Boundaries are a means of protecting ourselves and our mental balance. Recognition of our achievements. Often people tend to ignore their small and large successes, but it is vital that we recognize and honor our achievements. This helps create a more positive self-image and boosts self-esteem. Love for ourselves. Self-love is not only about being kind to ourselves, but also about acknowledging our weaknesses and mistakes without allowing them to define our worth. The relationship with the other. Creating healthy relationships. Our social networking and relationships with those around us are crucial to our mental health. A sense of belonging and having support can alleviate insecurity and boost our mental resilience. Healthy relationships are fundamental to developing emotional security and psychological strength. To create healthy relationships and reduce the insecurity that can result from social interactions, we need to cultivate relationships based on trust. Trust is the foundation for any healthy relationship. When we feel secure in our relationships, doubts and concerns about what others think of us are reduced. Communicate openly and honestly. Open and honest communication with those around us is critical. When we express our needs, desires, and feelings, our relationship becomes stronger and better understood. Learning to accept the support of others. Often, people who are insecure avoid asking for help or accepting support. However, accepting help and love from others is a healthy way to build mental resilience and reduce insecurity. The power of thought. Facing negative thoughts. Insecurity is often associated with negative thoughts that can overwhelm us and lead to self-doubt scenarios. These thoughts can be overly critical or frustrating, creating a sense of weakness or inadequacy. Recognizing and managing these negative thoughts is an important step to our mental stability. Some strategies to overcome negative thoughts are self-awareness and observation. Try to notice when negative thoughts come into your mind. Becoming aware of these thoughts is the first step in dealing with them. Once we recognize them, we can challenge them and seek more positive or realistic approaches. Management of negative thoughts. Instead of allowing negative thoughts to dominate, we can replace them with positive thoughts or focus on activities that boost our self-esteem and peace of mind. Positive thinking strategies. Positive thinking does not mean that we should ignore difficulties, but that we should focus on solutions and our ability to overcome obstacles. By focusing on the positive, we reduce negative thoughts and increase our confidence in ourselves. The importance of physical well-being. Physical health and well-being play an important role in our mental balance. When we take care of our bodies, our minds are positively affected. Physical activity, nutrition, and rest contribute to mental well-being and reduce insecurity. Some strategies to take care of our body are exercise. Physical activity releases endorphins, which are known to boost mood and reduce anxiety. Whether it's a walk, run, or yoga, regular exercise can reduce insecurity levels and boost emotional strength. Healthy diet. Good nutrition has a direct impact on our mental and physical health. The nutrients provided by a strong diet boost our mood and our ability to cope with challenges. Rest and sleep. Adequate sleep is vital for mental balance. Lack of sleep can intensify feelings of insecurity and anxiety. A good night's sleep helps restore the body and mind and enhances mental resilience. Dealing with social comparison. Social comparison is one of the main sources of insecurity. Often, we compare ourselves to others and feel that we don't do as well as those around us. However, this comparison can lead to feelings of failure and unworthiness. To deal with the comparison, we need to recognize our uniqueness. Each person has a different life path, different goals, and different potential. Accepting our uniqueness can help us stop comparing ourselves to others. Focus on the present. Mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness is particularly useful for dealing with insecurity. When our minds are filled with worries about the future or memories of the past, insecurity intensifies. Focusing on the present helps us to stay grounded and reduce excessive worry that intensifies uncertainty. Mindfulness techniques include observing the breath, accepting thoughts without judgment, and focusing on our senses in each moment. Mindfulness helps us to realize that our thoughts are not always truths, and that we do not have to identify with them. They are just thoughts, and becoming aware of this distinction can help us let them pass without allowing them to take over our thinking or affect our feelings. Create flow. The concept of flow as developed by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, refers to the state we experience when we are fully engaged in an activity and lose track of time and the environment around us. When we are in a state of flow, our sense of insecurity fades as we focus fully on the present moment and on achieving our goals. To get into a flow state, we need to find activities that challenge our ability without being too difficult or easy. These activities help us to escape insecurity and feel a sense of accomplishment and self-esteem. The importance of healthy living, physical health. Physical health and mental health are directly linked, and improving our physical condition can have a positive effect on our psychological well-being. Exercise is one of the most effective ways to reduce insecurity and stress. Exercise releases endorphins, which are natural brain chemicals that help us feel happier and calmer. In addition, proper nutrition, food, sleep, and the management of stress through relaxation techniques help to strengthen our psychological endurance. When our bodies are healthy, we have more energy and clarity to face challenges related to insecurity. Recognizing and dealing with internal criticism. Inner criticism is the voice inside us that tells us that we are not enough, or that we are not worthy of success or acceptance. This voice can reinforce insecurity and is often overly harsh and critical. Becoming aware of this inner criticism is the first step in dealing with it. To reduce the influence of internal criticism, we can learn to recognize and challenge it. It is important to replace negative thoughts with more encouraging and realistic ones. This can include creating positive statements, affirmations that boost our self-esteem, as well as applying the method of gentle self-criticism, which is based on understanding and accepting ourselves with our weaknesses and mistakes. Rethinking the way we see failures. Failure is often one of the biggest sources of insecurity. However, changing the way we view it can reduce its impact on our psychology. Instead of viewing failures as something negative or a personal weakness, we can see them as opportunities for learning and growth. Failure is inevitable and often necessary for our personal development. When reviewing a failure, we can look for lessons learned and find ways to better deal with it in the future. This positive reframing can reduce the sense of insecurity caused by failure and increase our resilience. Self-care practices and positive thinking. Self-care is necessary to deal with insecurity. Small daily self-care habits, such as rest, pampering, and contact with nature, can help reduce anxiety and provide a sense of security and calm. When we take time to take care of ourselves, we are sending a message to ourselves that we deserve care and respect. In addition, developing positive thinking and optimism can help change our perspective on difficulties. When we focus on the positive, our achievements, and the good times in our lives, insecurity fades as we replace negative thoughts with healthier and empowering ones. Positive thinking does not mean denying reality, but is the ability to see things in a way that enhances our mental well-being. Creating a strategy for security management. Creating a strategy to manage insecurity is one of the most effective ways of dealing with it in the long term. Instead of treating insecurity as something to be gotten rid of immediately, we can see it as a process that requires conscious efforts and a strategic approach. Here are some steps that can help us develop such a strategy. Recognition and categorization of insecurity. The first and most critical factor is to understand what exactly causes insecurity. Is it our professional future, our relationships, or our personal value? By making a list of specific issues, we can see them more clearly and categorize them based on their severity or our ability to manage them. Training in perspective change fluency. If insecurity arises from a misperception of ourselves or the world around us, then a change of perspective is key. This can be done through techniques such as cognitive restructuring, where we challenge the negative or exaggerated thoughts we have and replace them with more realistic and positive thoughts. Stress management strategies. Implementing stress management strategies, such as exercise, time management, or the first things first technique, can reduce the stress we feel and improve our ability to manage insecurity. Organizing our time and setting realistic goals can reduce our sense of insecurity due to uncertainty or confusion. Strengthening the social network. Support from friends, family, or support networks is crucial to boost self-esteem and combat insecurity. By strengthening our relationships and investing in positive and supportive people, we can create a network that fosters a sense of security and offers encouragement in difficult times. The relationship with uncertainty and risk tolerance. Insecurity is often associated with a sense of uncertainty or fear about the future. Rather than trying to avoid uncertainty, it is important to recognize that the unknown is an inevitable and often perfectly normal part of life. Creating a healthy mindset around uncertainty and accepting risk as part of the human experience is crucial to our mental stability. Recognition of risks and uncertainty as opportunities. When we look at uncertainty in a positive light, we can see it as an opportunity for personal growth. Although uncertainty can cause fear, the fact that there is room for growth, change, and development can enhance our mental resilience. Developing risk resilience. When we face insecurity, we often recognize that there is an element of risk in our lives. Developing resilience to risk means learning to manage and adapt to situations, even when we don't have all the answers or control. Feeling able to cope with difficulties boosts self-esteem and reduces insecurity. The importance of humor in dealing with insecurity. The ability to laugh at ourselves and situations that cause insecurity can have a catalytic effect on our mental balance. When we address our insecurities with humor, we remove tension and create a lighter and more accepting approach to our problems. This doesn't mean that we disregard our worries, but that we accept that life can be full of twists and turns, and that sometimes the best response is to look at the situation with humor. Continuous development and personal development. Insecurity can be significantly reduced when we make an ongoing effort for personal development. When we feel that we are evolving and learning from our experiences, our sense of insecurity loses its power. Personal development involves continually seeking new knowledge, improving our skills, and constantly reviewing our personal goals. Developing new skills and taking on new challenges can create a sense of achievement and self-esteem. When we feel that we are constantly growing and that our lives have meaning and direction, insecurity loses its importance and is replaced by a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. The recognition of positive internal dialogue. The internal dialogue we have with ourselves can play a catalytic role in managing insecurity. Negative thoughts and self-criticism reinforce insecurities, while positive internal dialogue can reduce them. Changing the way we talk to ourselves can have amazing results. Instead of focusing on our mistakes or weaknesses, we can acknowledge our successes, even the small ones, and boost our self-esteem. Developing a positive internal dialogue enhances our mental strength and allows us to face insecurities with greater confidence. Conclusions and continuous development. Insecurity is a natural part of being human, but managing it properly can lead to significant mental stability and well-being. Through self-awareness, enhanced self-esteem, gratitude, emotional intelligence, mental flexibility, and self-compassion, we can deal with our insecurities with significant mental stability and well-being. This process is not always easy and requires constant effort and patience. But by incorporating these strategies into our lives, we gain the skills necessary to meet challenges and minimize the impact of insecurity on our mental health. By utilizing the techniques mentioned above, we can create a healthier and stronger internal environment that will support us in difficult times. Furthermore, accepting insecurities as part of human nature allows us to deal with them without feeling inferior or a failure. Ultimately, insecurities can be a catalyst for personal growth and empowerment. The most important thing to remember is that insecurity is temporary and that, with the right strategies and support, it can be significantly reduced. Continued efforts at self-improvement and the implementation of healthy coping mechanisms will help us maintain mental stability and security even in the most uncertain situations. The journey to inner peace and mental well-being is an ongoing one that requires patience, but with the right approach, we can turn insecurity into strength and live a stronger and more fulfilling life.
Σας ευχαριστούμε που παρακολουθήσατε αυτό το βίντεο και αφιερώσατε χρόνο στη δική σας ευημερία. Η υγεία και η ευημερία δεν είναι μόνο η απουσία προβλημάτων, αλλά η ενεργητική φροντίδα όλων των πτυχών της ζωής μας. Από την οικονομική σταθερότητα και την αυτοφροντίδα μέχρι την προσωπική ανάπτυξη και τη διαχείριση των στόχων μας. Θυμηθείτε, η ευημερία είναι ένα ταξίδι και όχι προορισμός. Κάθε μικρή αλλαγή που κάνετε, κάθε θετική συνήθεια που ενσωματώνετε και κάθε στόχος που θέτετε συμβάλλει στην επίτευξη μιας ισορροπημένης και γεμάτης ζωής. Εφαρμόστε τις στρατηγικές που συζητήσαμε, προσαρμόστε τις στις προσωπικές σας ανάγκες και παρακολουθήστε τη ζωή σας να μεταμορφώνεται προς το καλύτερο. Αν έχετε απορίες ή θέλετε να μοιραστείτε την εμπειρία σας, αφήστε ένα σχόλιο παρακάτω. Θυμηθείτε να εγγραφείτε στο κανάλι μας για περισσότερα βίντεο που θα σας βοηθήσουν να ζήσετε μια πλήρη και ευτυχισμένη ζωή. Μέχρι την επόμενη φορά, φροντίστε τον εαυτό σας και να είστε καλά.